Welcome to the Art and Hustle Gallery of Conversations. Welcome here, Jennifer. So I'd love
Hello.
for you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do as your 9 to 5 and your new hustle here that we see in the background.
Hello. Oh my goodness, it's great to see you. Um, I am Jennifer Wilson. I am from the New D in CI. I lived and grew up on Root Avenue, right off of Ferndale, which everybody probably knows where that whole area is. And I was there until I went to college. I left CI and went to Hampton University.
Mhm.
And I came back to CI probably about a year and a half, 2 years, and then moved to Virginia and did my well over 10 years in Virginia, then moved to Florida for another 8. And now I've settled roots and bought a house in North Carolina.
Oh, awesome.
And my career the entire time was accounting.
Mhm.
And that's what I do now. I am now the budget and management analyst for Lenoir County, North Carolina, which is about 56,000 people. So it's not a large a large county. And we just do the best that we can with the money that we have because it's not an affluent community. So it has its struggles,
Mhm.
but I absolutely love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. What I do, what you see behind me are some of the
Over
wreaths that
there,
I
right
have,
there.
and there's a fall one, and there's a Christmas one.
Mhm.
I will get into that, further on in our conversation. A lot of people will remember from my class of 91, Renee and Vicky were co-presidents.
Mhm.
We did a lot of fundraisers. And one of the fundraisers everybody probably remembers was chocolate. We used to sell homemade chocolate, which came out of my home
Oh my
with,
God,
with
really? Wow.
my mother, my sister, myself, before my sister moved out. And we made homemade chocolate. We was melting chocolate, putting it in molds. And if they remember Valentine's Day, we had chocolate covered roses.
Mhm.
We would actually deliver it to the classrooms, and it was absolutely amazing. We had so much fun doing that. And we made chocolate for probably about 3 of the 4 years that I was at CI.
Mhm.
And the class made a lot of money off of it for our fundraisers. And that was something that was different because of course nobody really made chocolate like that to actually
Mhm.
sell. And we had fun doing it. We would meet at the house at my house on Root Avenue and make chocolate. We made our freshman year float in the hallway in the living room of my house.
Wow. Oh my God. So you were like the epicenter for all of these like school activities.
For the crafting stuff, I
Yeah.
would say, because I was like, yeah, everybody come to my house, and
Mhm.
we did, and we had food and there was snacks. My mother worked for Entenmann's, so we had Entenmann's
Oh, that's
snacks.
awesome.
And a lot of people are going to remember Dawn Ellerby, who was in the Olympics, and now she's in California, and she's also a plus size influencer. She lived
She's
across the
like a
street from me.
fashionista now.
She's fabulous. I
I
love
love
her.
it. I love her photos and her little, all the outfits and
Yes,
everything.
she is. She's a powerhouse. You wouldn't think she would be like that, growing up. She lived across the street from me,
Mhm.
and her dad worked for Entenmann's. Excuse me,
Oh.
for Nabisco. My mother worked for
Oh,
Entenmann's. Her
yeah.
dad worked for Nabisco. So both our houses had snacks. Both our houses had
That
snacks.
is
So it was
so
like, we're
funny. I
like,
love it. I love it. See, this is
yes.
what I love. I love the backstories of things. You get to really know like your childhood, where you grew up, and then you graduated the same time as my sister in 91.
I did. She was a sweetheart. She wasn't the class. I think she was student government president, if I'm not mistaken. I know she was part of the student
Yeah.
government.
Mhm.
I don't hold me to it, and please tell her don't shoot me if I'm really wrong. But
I know she was involved in a lot of things. I don't remember
she
which
did.
part she was in. Yeah.
She was in the student government
Mhm.
versus, so that she was in charge of the whole class body, the school body, I should say. And then
Mhm.
Vicki and Renee were co-class presidents.
Mhm.
So yeah, and that, I kind of left the chocolate. I went to college. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. So I put all that stuff down for years.
Mhm.
Even when I got married in Virginia, I had 2 boys,
Mhm.
Curly and Jermaine. And they, as growing up, we still didn't do anything. It really wasn't until I moved to Florida that, no, when I was in Virginia, I started making some every now and then. I'd make stuff for Valentine's Day and sell it. And then when the holidays come, people would ask me, well, are you making? I'm like, no, but if I have to. So I was kind of pulled into it, every now and then when I was in Virginia. But really, I put my feet and just jumped head in when I moved to North Carolina. When I was in Florida, I still did it. I made baskets for Easter, and all of this was homemade chocolate. And then I started making the baskets and decorating baskets. And moving to North Carolina, it somehow that stuff just leaks out, and because I'm nobody in North Carolina, and then to come to this little town, and I'm seeing, when I go into the craft stores, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're selling that for $50, and it had like nothing on it, and it used to it made me so upset. And God just gave me the opportunity. He was like, look. So then I got clients coming to me, and they started becoming repeat customers. And God was like, okay, are you going to do it now? So I formed my LLC last year, and I bought a house that originally had an in-law suite for my parents, because I moved my parents down right before the pandemic. So they moved February 1st, and everything shut down like the middle to end of February.
Wow.
During the pandemic. So they left New York, came here. So my house has an in-law suite, which I purposely looked for them. So when they ended up buying a townhouse a couple of towns over, I converted the in-law suite into a studio. So and God was like, this is your purpose. This is why you have this house with this
now space. It's your office, right?
And now that's my studio and my office. I also have a barn on the property that I'm going to convert into a warehouse. So because
that's perfect.
It's making wreaths. I love it. That's my piece.
Yes.
And I personalize everything. So I don't have an inventory. I only keep inventory if I do vendor fairs and stuff like that. But everything is personalized. When somebody says that they want something, I ask them a few questions. And then as God shows me what fits that person, they ended up loving it. And there's so many stories I have behind it from classmates that I've mailed stuff to. And the warehouse came about because seeing the cost of supplies, the ribbon, the mesh, the embellishments, all that.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how the prices are.
Yeah. And it hurt me to see people getting scammed behind that. So it was like, okay, are you going to open the warehouse? And I'm like, nope. and then just hearing more and more of the horror stories, I was like, okay, fine, I'll open the warehouse. And I ended up finding, I just did a little bit. I would purchase stuff wholesale, and I go online and sell it. And then I had customers coming back. Do you have this? Do you have this? I'm like, my warehouse is small. I do get shipments, and I'll go to my wholesaler when I get supplies. My wholesaler is probably about almost 2 hours away. So that's my happy place. Because I have my, the name of the company, is JMW CREATIONS. And I have the Facebook page. I don't have the website yet. And on there, I will.
Well, if you need help with the website, let me know. I do websites.
There it is. You got it. Because I was going to start doing it, and I was like, nah,
you don't have time.
I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to stay in my lane, and the website development is not my lane. So it was, I have to start keeping inventory of supplies so I can ship it everywhere. So I have clients out in California that I send supplies to. Some are still local here to North Carolina. And I'm just here to help. I love doing this. I'm not here to get rich off of it. It's one of those, I have a supply for people that love the art and the variations of wreaths and the personalizations of it, where I can supply that to them and they don't have to pay a whole bunch of money. Don't get me wrong. I have wreaths that cost $20. I have wreaths and swags and garland that cost $150, $200. It's all for how much somebody wants to spend. And regardless, they're still going to get that quality because of the materials and the love that I use to put into it. And I love it. Yes, it's a company that I'm going to pass down to my kids because they make chocolate. Well, Jermaine, my youngest, makes chocolate. And, you know, the company's not going anywhere. So I know it's getting bigger. And yes, am I going to get rich off of it? That's where God has me to go, is to maintain this company and let it grow as it's supposed to grow in the timing it's supposed to grow. And I'm going to just do what I'm supposed to do.
I love it. I love it. And like when the purpose and passion, it all lines up together. So to be profitable. And that was one of the videos I was researching, where it was like 3 circles. It was like passion, profit, and I forgot what the prosperity or something, another P, but if they all line up, then it's like it all flows and it works, and it goes easy once it's, you know, you're kind of sitting in your purpose of what you love, and it's not, doesn't feel so forceful when it's something you do.
Right. Your purpose, when you work in your purpose, everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
God gives everybody a purpose in life, and whether they figure it out when they're 20, they figure it out when they're 50. Eventually, they're going to walk in that purpose, and the prosperity is going to come from it. So walking in that and realizing, I think
that's the word, prosperity. It's probably that was the other circle.
Realizing what that is like you said, you enjoy what you do. Your joy comes from that, and making other people happy is the ultimate reward. And yes, you're not doing anything so you can spend money and don't make money. That's never the purpose of having a side hustle. You know, you want to be able to have something. And yes, I do make money from it. Can I make as much as a lot of these people that I see on Facebook, and they have this huge website and they have thousands of people watching their live? Yes. That's not where God started me. And it was to help those that love doing this and couldn't do it. So I provided that avenue for them to buy supplies from me for $2 a roll for ribbon, $4 a roll for mesh, that you would have to go to the store to pay 50% more. And
a nice roll like that, it will cost a lot more money at the stores. They're getting ripped off. So that was my purpose for this company. I have the means to do it. I have the space to do it, and all of that. He was like, okay, I gave this to you for you to walk in your purpose when it comes to this company. I love it. I mean, rewind to let everybody know, we started connecting because you reached out to me. You bought some mugs for me. You purchased some Prince custom art. Oh my gosh, Prince is on my living room wall. It is the best thing to come into my house and see those huge prints, and it's all because it's, as much as people don't like but love Facebook, it connects you to people and things that you didn't know that they can actually do. Exactly. You told me about the mugs, and I shot to your site for that. Got 4 mugs that for Christmas, and have been using it ever since. It's in my I have a little coffee station in my kitchen, so it's in there. And then seeing the artwork, I'm like, okay, this is what I need. And you did it in less than a month. You did it in less than a month, and it's absolutely amazing. I know. I thank you for that. Like a lot of people are iffy about joining Facebook and being part of it. I mean, but like, as long as you use it for good and, weed out the negative people that, you might not like and whatever else, you connect with people. So I connected with people who I never really would have, connected any other way. And it's also beautiful in the connection in the community of CI and all the people in it who always want to support each other. That's the key. And that's one thing that I love about CI. I don't regret my life or anything that I've done. The one thing that I say that if I could redo or try to do a different way, would have been staying connected to CI. When I left to go to school in Virginia, I really wasn't traveling back and forth. I was putting myself through school. So it was hard for me. So I was in Virginia, I did 3 years there. And when I came back, I didn't know how to speak to anybody. I didn't know who was left. I didn't know where anybody was. And I was only there for a year and a half and went back to school. So I was working full time during the day. I went to school full time at night. So I really didn't have the time, but I didn't know where anybody was because I was gone for 3 years. So it was hard for me to find people. And I really didn't go out
much. So I wasn't seeing people in the street. So I really wish, that's one thing that I, as an adult, if I was to tell my 20, 21-year-old self, when you go back home, you need to figure out how to find where these people are. Find out where your classmates are. So
keep
find
those
out where your
connections
friends
with
are.
those people. Have you found some of the ones that you lost contact with on Facebook or social media?
Well, yeah, I've, since then, I've pretty much connected back with the majority of the class. And of course, it's all through Facebook.
Yeah.
When Facebook came into existence, everybody was able to see everybody. When I would go to New York, when my parents were still in New York, I would go to New York and visit. It wasn't often, but when I did, I would connect with Renee and Vicky and the girls. And I went for our 10-year reunion. And I think it was the 15 or 20-year reunion. So I went to both of those. And, when you go there, that's when you start connecting with everybody else again. And you get more people, more friends to go with on Facebook. And, the Facebook was the tool. Yeah. For me, it did what it was supposed to do. It connected everybody back. And, I feel for the ones that have horror stories when it comes to Facebook. But again, like you said earlier, you have to if there's negativity there, you just have to not put that in your life. When you allow all of that to absorb into you, you're stressed about it. It bothers you. You're thinking about it all the time. That's not in a positive way. It's something that you have to get rid of, and it may hurt, and you may not want to because of the person, but your peace is what you have to take care of, especially now with everything that's going on and the things that teenagers now have to deal with that we definitely did not have to deal with growing up. Yeah. Your peace is very important, and it doesn't matter where the aggravation and stress is coming from. And if that's years and years of built up aggravation, you got to let it go, because your happiness comes from that. Yeah. And there's only so much you can do. And one thing that we said earlier, you can, when things are hard, you still put a smile on your face and keep going. Yeah. Because we're made to push through, where, there's a test that we're going through. We figure out what that test is and make sure we get it right, so we don't go through it again. But when there's somebody or things, not even necessarily just people, that are constantly weighing you down and making you slump in your shoulders and giving you headaches, you have to find a way to regain your peace, because your peace is what you control. Yeah. Don't let anybody else control that, because you're giving somebody else power that they don't deserve, and that they probably don't even know they have. They probably definitely don't know. They're probably not even thinking about you. Right. So they're probably like, I'm perfectly fine. Don't think that this issue affects my peace. And I'll be like, really? Wow, I think about this all the time. And you're telling me like, no, I don't let anything disturb my peace. And I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, I need to do that. You can't, and it's hard. When I first started working in government, when I got here, my city manager, he was amazing. I would go to him like, oh my goodness, I don't want to talk to him about this. There's a whole lot of money that we need. And he would look at me, he was like, is that all? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, it was bothering me. He was like, it's a non-issue. Wow. See, you were thinking about it. Wait a minute. Like, no, it doesn't bother him. It's a non-issue, because everything has a solution at some point or another. It might not be a solution right now, and you might not see it. Yeah. But it's at some point it's going to come to an end. And if it doesn't, and if that's that negativity that's hitting you, you have to make it come to an end, and just regain your control of your peace. Yeah. And when people this is a non-issue. Nothing I can do about it, especially if you can't do anything about it. Yeah. It's a non-issue. I'm not going to stress over it. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm so excited, because after we connected, then I started seeing all your projects you were doing. And then I just saw it starting to blow up, and it was just beautiful to watch it start growing and growing and blowing up. I'm like, I just love it. And I could just feel the energy from it. And I always tell certain people that I connect with on these podcasts, like, when I see something like a photo of them doing something they love, I just feel the energy from it. And then I instantly have to send you a message, be like, listen, we need to have a conversation on this podcast, because I can feel the love and energy of the projects you're doing.
And I would love to get that energy into these podcasts so we can, let people know about what you're doing and then promote your business, or just, give people tips of, how you did it, or, tips and tricks. And I love that you started teaching people how to do it.
Thank you. I
in the
do.
classes.
There's
Have you
no
started
sense in-
videotaping those as well, or no?
Not yet. I don't have the setup for it yet, and all the gadgets and rigs and stuff that goes into it.
Yeah.
But I do. I am going to start teaching it. The studio is big enough where I can hold 4 people in it, and do one-on-one courses with a group no larger than 4. Not this weekend, next weekend. Wait a minute. No, the 24th, the last Saturday, this is my second class of about 22 to 27 ladies.
Wow, that's a big class.
I did one in the spring with them.
Yeah.
And now this is going to be the fall. And it's just amazing where the journey is.
I know, I love it. I love how it's like,
I don't take advantage of it. And, it's teaching. There's no sense in me saying, you know what, I'm going to keep all this stuff to myself. This is for me. No, because I learned from watching other people.
Yeah.
I never took a formal class for this. It was, I'm looking at different things. I'm like, oh, this is nice to do. And this is nice to do. And I follow professionals that this is their 9-to-5 job. I have a couple of people that their company, one is up north, and I think it's Pennsylvania, and they have like a barn that is just absolutely ridiculous that used to hold like dozens of horses and all that stuff, and it's now a warehouse for wreath supplies.
Wow.
There's somebody else that's down south in Louisiana, and it's just looking, and that's like, you know what, that's my vision, to have all these supplies, to have the website up, to be able to share that, to be able to have the classes, to do one-on-one, to show them that as long as you enjoy doing it, then it's going to look beautiful, because you like it. What you're making is going to be for you, and it's going to be for somebody else. So that's why I don't have inventory. People are like, oh, well, can I have this? I'm like, I don't have it. Well, I can make it for you, so we can have a conversation about it. I have clients that when I'm shopping at the wholesale, my warehouse to buy supplies, and I see something, I'm like, you know what? I know she's going to like that. I have clients that never ask me for anything. Yeah. When the holidays come, and this happened 4th of July. I'm like, I didn't know whether or not she liked 4th of July wreaths. And sure enough, I'm like, you know what? She would really like that. I put it together, and I asked, I said, did you want a 4th of July wreath? This was like in May. Yeah. She's like, yeah, I need to let you know. I said, don't worry, I got it. Yeah. Because I make the things that end up being for them. And I can tell, because of what they've purchased from me in the past, what they're going to like. Yeah. Whether or not they ask for it or not, I'll just send them the picture and say, do you like this? And they're like, yeah, I do. Just go ahead and send it. So now I have clients that have that, because December will pretty much, actually the fall, this month makes an actual full year that I've been doing this.
I love it. Congratulations.
I'm excited. It didn't dawn on me until I signed up for a vendor event that's next week. And I'm like, wait a minute, this was the first show that I did last year. So this is my first full
congratulations
year, and seeing thank you, and seeing where this has gone, and I'm humble to it. I absolutely love it. It's a blessing, and like I said, I don't take it for granted that and I can see the growth because I do have some stuff that didn't sell last year, and I look at it, I'm like, I made that. I'm like, compare it to this year, it's like, oh, now I see why it didn't sell. So I'm redoing some designs from last year, and I see things that I've done that I've gone out the box that that I didn't think that I would ever do. And it's exciting to start something, to have a hustle. Yeah. It's your passion. Hustle. It's your passion and what you love to do. Because I remember waking up 3 o'clock in the morning and saying, I need to go work. Yeah. And I'll turn on some lights. I'll get my scissors and my glue gun and my flowers and everything. And I'd start making wreaths before I went to work for 8 o'clock. So I'm up at 4 a.m, knocking out 2 wreaths, and probably just one, because I focus so much, and this doesn't look right. This doesn't look right.
Mhm.
And you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You love what you do.
And you get lost in it.
Yes, you do. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm up. I'd go to work at 8, get home at 5, change my clothes, get some dinner, start all over again. And then I'm up till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So it was a cycle, and not, oh my goodness, I'm so tired. No, because that is the passion. And when you want to have a hustle, you have to move it. You have to make sure that you're involved. You have to learn that craft. And then just move it a little further and a little further. And then, you know, your customers are going to be from CI, your local, the people that you hang around with, your coworkers, all of those people are going to be your first customers. And then from there, it's word of mouth. And then, you know, I have my Facebook page, and it's almost 300 people, and I'm excited about that. It's like, it's only 300, but guess what? It wouldn't be anything if I would not have taken and just jumped headfirst in the water and just submerge myself in all of this to say, okay, God, this is where you have me. Whatever's going to happen, you're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just work it from there, and just move little by little. It's, you know, my 300 is going to go to 3,000, and, you know, and we'll go, and we'll just move from there. You just have to creating a side hustle and for you to prosper from it. It's all a matter of how you are going to get involved in it.
Yeah.
Because I can't sit back and say, I want to make wreaths and chocolate and expect somebody else to do it and say, this is what I want to do, but they're doing it better, and I'm not making an effort. You have to make that effort and make sacrifices.
Yeah.
And, you know, is money a factor? Money is definitely a factor. It's not like I have a whole bunch of money sitting around saying I can spend it on this. No. Was the initial investment out of my pocket? Yes. When you get those clients, but if you truly want to make that hustle successful, to make it your full-time career, because that's your passion, to make sure your bank account for this hustle is great, and you have thousands of dollars in it. It's not going to get thousands of dollars in the beginning. You'll probably have a couple bucks, and then it goes from a couple hundred. You have to make the sacrifice. So yes, did I stop? You know, because I'm a sweets person and I love some good cake. Did I stop eating cake for a while? I did. You know, I'm that person that will pay $7 for a slice of really good cake. And, you know, you have to do those things. You have to, you know, make sure you watch what you spend, because any of that extra income or that money that used to just sit around, it's like, you know what, I can't just have it sit around now, because now I have to go buy wreath supplies. Yeah. Because what happens is that when you sell,
that's your new chocolate.
Yeah. When you sell that product, you get your money back, yes, but I'm not going to take back the money that I invested in it. I have to make sure it rolls back into the company to make it where that the credit card for the company, the credit card that I use for the company pays for itself, because I have the sales that I had that's going to pay for the supplies that I buy with it. Yeah. It's a slow process, and it's not something that I want people to jump in and say that, oh, I can start this and it's going to be great. It might be. It might be. But if it's not, it's just, don't be discouraged about it, and just keep going. I've had months where people bought nothing, and I'm like, how are you not buying anything? So then I started making stuff and trying to push it. Yeah. Nobody bought anything. I'm like, you know what? I got too much stuff around here. I'm not going to, because if I give up, I'm going to sell everything first. Yeah. Before I say, you know what, I'm done. It goes in cycles. And no matter what that hustle is, no matter what you do, whether you do hair on the side and you're too scared to go ahead and go get your license and and start out renting a booth and then owning your own shop, to sewing, and you sew your own clothes, and you're afraid to go ahead and put up a sign and form a company to say, I'm going to start, making clothes for other people. You have to start somewhere, and it is very scary. Yeah. You just have to be positive and confident in what you do to know that it'll be successful. So here's everything.
One thing that I realized, like, as you're doing this, to make some passive income along with what your talents are with these wreaths, is to, when you do your classes, to start recording them, that you can actually use that footage and use it for an online, like, class that you've recorded of teaching how to make wreaths. And then from that one class that you recorded, you can put it on like sites like Skillshare or Teachable. And then that one class, you can keep making passive income, recorded that one session of how to make it. And then people could buy that one class, and then you could make multiple passive income from that one recording.
See, and I've never heard of anything like that. You know, the sites that you just said, because that's not my forte. You know, this is my lane. And this is one thing about connecting with people, because you know that aspect of it. Before, and I don't. So that's something that we're definitely going to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about it, because when I transitioned, like I got out of my 9 to 5, when I got in March of 2020, when COVID hit, I got let go. So when I got let go of that, I'm such a workaholic, and I've been in fashion industries for like over 23 years, ever since I graduated college. So, but I realized like I would always do my 9 to 5, but then do all my craft products when I would go home. I started a card business. I would start an Etsy business. I would, do paintings, but I'm always hustling some sort of art passion on the side.
Right.
So when I got let go, I was like, I just started doing research on YouTube. So I kept watching all kinds of videos, how to make money at home, how to make passive income. So that was one of them that I learned, that I thought that would really work for you, because
definitely,
if you can just, the video doesn't even have to be perfect, and I can help you with the edits, because that's what I've started mastering during teaching myself how to edit videos, is that if you just record even little parts of it, and then I can start cutting them into like a teachable thing. And then eventually you can put these on these platforms, and it's a one-time shot of you making it, and then you can just keep selling that one footage over and over again. Even if it's like a little bit of money, it's still passive income.
Oh yeah, and it's one of your passion is working for you when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So you're making money when you're sleeping, which is what people should strive to have.
That's my goal.
That is generating income for you with minimal effort from you.
So that is my goal from now until I can be sitting on a beach, sipping on a pina colada, making some passive income. So that is my goal that I'm struggling to get through, because it's hard. I mean, one thing that's helped me is that I started an Airbnb. So now that gives supplemental income, but that's not enough to pay everything. I'm a single mom with 2 kids, so that's not enough. So now I got to find like some side freelance work, or just like you, I reached out to you. Now we connected. I'm like, hey, you need a website? I can make a website for you.
You got it, because like I said, that's not my forte.
Yeah, like any sort of like social media or flyers or videos, like that's what I've been loving to do. Like ever since I started the podcast, I love the connections that I have and the conversations with people you have, and then you learn something new, or they give you a tip, and that's just beautiful.
Yeah,
I think it's phenomenal.
It is. That's how you can advance your business and help somebody advance theirs.
Yes.
Because everybody has knowledge of the area that they work in. Because I never thought about anything like that, because that's not an area that I would have known to look into. So making sure you stay connected to people and 100% have these conversations to know that, I didn't know you do that. Let me get with you, because it's all about helping everybody to succeed. There's no sense in a closed fist does not get blessed.
Never.
It's the more you give, the more you're going to receive. It's reciprocation, and you just have to be able to want to share and have that passion to help somebody advance, because that's how blessings flow.
Exactly. And that's how I've always been, even with my art shows and everything I do. It's all about helping people. Like, how can I help you? What do you do? And what do I know? How can I help you? Or who can I connect you to? Or anything like that to me. It's like, it's even with all the struggles I've been through that would make me into a harder person, I just can't do that. Like I always want to help people.
Yeah, it's the struggles are real. It happens, and when you don't think it's going to hit, it'll hit.
Yeah,
and it's hard to bounce back from some of them, and it might take years to bounce back from them.
Yeah.
As long as you got to keep going, because somebody out there has gone through that struggle, or is going through that struggle, and you're able to tell them how you got through. But just staying connected to people that and it's not like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to tell them. I get being private and you only share certain things with certain people,
Yeah.
but you never know who's there to help you.
Yeah, exactly. And do you have your Instagram set up also, or no, not yet?
I am not that social media person. The most I have is Facebook. And
there you go. Well, this is why you have me now. So I can be like your social media guru here, where you can do the video. You can put this on YouTube and put it on TikTok. You can put it on all of these social media. So that's kind of like what I've been doing for the whole pandemic. Is it's all about how can I get this online and get it like, promoting and getting it moving. So I'm that cogwheel these days of like this. So there you go. This is why we're connecting.
That's where everything is. It's, you know, now that Facebook started doing those little those little reels.
Yeah, because they're connected to Instagram.
Right. So those are showing up, and it's when there's so much out there. And again, I'm part of my job, my 9 to 5 being the budget analyst. There's the North Carolina Local Government Budget Association.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on that board.
Mm-hmm.
So I serve as the county at large representative.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is my first year. They so they have different committees or boards. So they put me on the committee of social media. I was like, don't, nope. Can we
like, wait, like what?
I said, I know how to use Facebook. Can we put me on a different committee? Because I'm like, I'm not that, because if I don't have it to know how to manipulate all aspects of social media and Instagram and LinkedIn, and you know, because LinkedIn turned into like a baby Facebook.
It is. I use all of those. I use it. The only one I haven't really got into is Twitter, but I can use it too, but I just haven't got into it. But I use all of them: LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and then my daughter got me into Snapchat, so now I'm using Snapchat.
Yeah,
you know, and then YouTube, and so I'm always on all of them, trying to promote myself on these things.
Definitely, and you know what? That's you go, girl, because now you can promote me, and we'll work out that contract.
And then I can help you with
I was like, no, please take me off that committee. Put me someplace else. That's not gonna be me.
You're like, I don't know anything about that. I can't help you here. No,
I wouldn't even know how to log in. If y'all was like, here's all the login information. No, I can't.
Yeah,
that's not my avenue. I stay in my lane. Social media management is not my lane.
Yeah. Well, that's good. At least you know like what you're comfortable with and what you're talented in, and you can see the love that you put into these wreaths. They're like beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna tell you, one of my first two sales that I will definitely remember. To some people from CI. One was my classmate, and she saw one of my first Christmas wreaths I made. The reason why I remember her, because it was the very first Christmas wreath that I made, and it had cardinals on it.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was making it, I'm like, I didn't like it, and I kept messing with it and changing stuff around. And God was like, leave it. God said, leave it. She's gonna buy it. I'm like, I don't know nobody that like cardinals.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know why I'm making this, but
right. But I was drawn to the whole aspect of making it, and it took me a minute to make it too. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, when I posted it, my classmate reached out to me, and she was in Facebook, and she was in tears because of the loss of her brother. And she told me the story that a cardinal comes to her house every year.
Oh,
and when she seen that, it was like, I started crying. I was like, oh my gosh. And that's what it was. God was like, she'll buy it. And sure enough, she was my first Christmas wreath I sent it to her. And you know, I knew her brother. We all grew up together.
Yeah.
So that was definitely hard. When everything happened, and she told me that story, and it was so touching.
I just had a vision of a wreath with like a memory wreath where you would put people's photos on them and print them out in little frames or something. Like
I've done some when I lived in Florida. I did some for a close friend in Georgia, and she bought so much stuff for me. Every time she turned around, she was asking for something. And the first personalized one I made was for Valentine's Day for her. And she had, I had to paint for the first time, haven't painted since. And then she wanted all her grandkids on it.
Oh,
so
lovely.
I hand painted some hearts and took a metallic pen and wrote their name on it and made it into a wreath for her. So she puts it around Valentine's Day. She still puts it by her front door. And this is got to be about 6 years ago. She still has everything that I've made for her.
That's amazing. I see. Every time like I know someone's doing something creative, I'll have like I have inspiration and brainstorm. So here's another thing that I just thought of. I'm always brainstorming. I'm like, oh, this would be good for you. Since these people love seasonal wreaths, right? Then some people who are returning customers that love your work, you can even do like a membership thing where you just, send them a new one for Valentine's Day, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. They don't even have to think about it. Like, I'm just gonna sign up. I love your stuff. I'm just gonna sign up for a membership and just send me new ones.
Nice. That I did not think about. What I did think about was just putting the kits together, and if they want it and we can do one-on-one classes, I'll go ahead and this is the kit, ship them, mail them the kit, and then we do a Zoom call and make the wreath together. But that is cool. I have not seen that with any of the people that I have. They do have memberships for things, but memberships for classes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But to actually knowing that you don't have to think about it, that you're at least going to get at least for a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you can do here's level 1 for a year. And then if you want customized ones where you can add a couple more in there for birthdays and special occasions, add a couple more in there for a discount, but if you don't sign up, each one is going to be a lot more money.
It's going to be a lot more.
It's going to be a lot more. Because at least if you get some memberships going, you can actually make quantities of those. So you had 3 members. Oh, well, that's good. I can make 4 of these wreaths. They're done. They're over. Yep. I know I can ship it out. Yeah, I got all kinds of. I got artsies, and I'm always brainstorming how I can make money. But it's something I love, so it's not like I'm trying to make a shitload of money from anything I do. Usually I undercharge most of the stuff I do is my problem. So, but yeah, I'm glad we linked up because then I can just brainstorm a whole bunch of ideas.
You just want to get on payroll, and I get it. I gotta put you on payroll.
Oh, you're back. There we go.
Okay.
So did you have any really any hard things that you had to really struggle through with the business to get it going? Like any tips and tricks there to overcome some things, and beautiful stories, hard stories of people and customers?
It's the stories that I get when people tell me how the wreath affects them before they even buy it. And that those are always touching. Like I said, the one from with the cardinal, and I gotta mention my songbird Taina. She and I used to Taina Quiles. Quiles brothers now. We used to sing together in show choir. And she purchased some. She was one of the first people from Seattle to purchase from me as well. And she saw the item that she bought. She was like, when I seen it, I was like, I needed this. And and I sent it to her. I love when CI purchases stuff from me. Renee ended up moving to Raleigh. So the item, I made something for her last year because she's as all you people are pumpkin spice people. Love pumpkin spice. And
I haven't gotten into it. I don't know why.
I'm not a pumpkin spice person.
Neither am I.
But she loves pumpkin spice.
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't love it. So
I'm not a pumpkin person.
Neither am I. No, I'm not either. And I'm like, no, I don't really like it. You're like pumpkin pie, Thanksgiving. I can not.
Sorry. Yeah. So hearing those stories, those are always a joy. And I must say I have been blessed where I have not had anything that was a huge issue or roadblock for me, because if I stop making them, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
Before I get stressed out and aggravated, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
And then I'll get back into it to say, okay, we got to start afresh. We start over and just keep going from there. like we said earlier, money is going to be a problem, because what you want to do, you can't do because you want to start developing your business and trying to get that going before your money is not your business money. where your business money is just that, business money. And it takes a while to get there.
It does. It
takes a while to get there. And sometimes there's still crossover. Sometimes every now and then, if you want to do a major purchase, you might have to, take some, but that's your business. That's your capital investment. So you are investing in yourself. Is that something that's going to come back to you? Definitely, because you are an owner of this of your company, of your LLC, if you make it an LLC, and you should be getting paid for it. So, I pay myself from every wreath that I sell, no matter how much I've put into it, even though that's my own money, there's only a portion of it I pay myself. So as the owner, yes, you pay yourself from it, and then everything else belongs to the organization. And you just, if it ever becomes that stressful, where it's like this, you get a huge roadblock in front of you, find those connections that you have. The people that you may know that do the same thing, they've had to have something similar like this happen to you. You can't be afraid of the mistake or of the issue that comes in front of you when putting this business together. When you want to do something, find somebody, find a buddy, find a mentor that you can talk to say, okay, this is where I want to go. What do I need to do? I want to get it off the ground. You can't do it by yourself. You can go to YouTube and look it up and get all the information and knowledge and research, and that's fine. You still should have somebody that you can speak with that say, okay, these are the moves that I want to make. But it has to be somebody that you trust, that that will have you and your business best interest in mind and not personal gain.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's been a pleasure to chat with you. Anything else you want to add to give out any other advice on love, money, marriage?
Oh, goodness. Love and marriage is a totally different podcast. Completely different podcast.
Love, marriage, relationships.
It's good to do something that you love. He's amazing. Before I make any major purchases, I run stuff by him to say, okay, this is what I want to do, because he has that mindset of, is it going to be beneficial? What is your return on investment going to be when it comes to that? What is, how much stress is it going to add to you if you buy this product? Okay. Is it going to be worth it? How long is it going to take for you to recoup that money? All of those things. And I'm like, look, I don't know. I just like it. I want to do it because I want to.
It's
right.
Pretty.
I wanted to get an embroidery machine because I wanted to start embroidering stuff. And he was like, well, how much is it? I'm like, a lot. And he was like, why do you want it? So I'm like, because I want it. And I'm like, I want to embroidery stuff, make stuff personalized. He was like, do you really want to sit down and do that? Do you want to go in the, look at it? Do you want to go in the program and have to create stuff and make stuff look pretty? And then you got to buy the material and thread. And I'm like, I don't know. You look at it at a different light, because as much as it sounds good, if you really think about all that background, and that's what he does. He looks
and
at
so you didn't get it?
No, not yet. I still would like one, but I know me. And that's the thing. I might want a whole lot of stuff. I wanted a wood burning machine. And I bought it? No.
Well, that's the problem is us craft people, is that we can find use and for everything. We're like, oh, that's great. I can do this for this. So like I'm sitting in the garage with like all of my art supplies all around me. Because you just start hoarding everything where you're like, I can do this, I can do that. Your brain just starts going and wants to try all of these ideas.
Exactly. And then I don't want, because this stuff is not cheap.
No.
You're buying a $5,000 machine to say I don't like it anymore. So it's not. And he's that voice of, I'm not saying you're not going to get it. Look at everything that comes with it. So he's absolutely supportive of it. And I love him for that. He helps me design stuff. So I'm like, okay, I need you to look at this. What does it look like? And he'll be able to say, add this, take this away, move that. So he helps that creative process. And I'm glad I have that. Because awesome. If I didn't have that, as wonderful as a man that he is, if that was not his forte at all, because again, everybody has their lane. I still would do what I do. I just wouldn't be as excited when it comes to the finished product without somebody looking at it to say, okay, tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Because that goes back to having a mentor or having somebody in that field to look to say, okay, you know what? They'll love it. This looks good.
Yeah.
Because
So he'll look at your end product and give you his opinion.
Correct. Yeah.
Do your kids help you with the projects too, or they give you their opinions?
No, they don't. These are 20-year-old boys. They have no opinions on wreaths.
They're like, okay.
They make, Jermaine makes chocolate. He's in the Army now, and he was stationed. He took pictures of chocolates that he's made, and he got that habit of making chocolate and selling chocolate for Valentine's Day, which I'm glad about. My oldest Curly, no, that whole creative side, it was not him. No. But I told him, I said, this company's not going away. So, but you got, when I think about where I was in my 20s, I didn't have this stuff come to me. Yeah. I didn't have things that were passed down to me, skills like that. And well, the crafting part, yes, because that's what we did when I was growing up. Yeah. But to be able to say, look, you have a company that's already established. So when you become, when you get older, when you're in your 30s, then you're ready to say, okay, we need to go ahead, Mom, let's go ahead and move JMW Creations to the next level. That they'll be there. Yeah. So now in your 20s, you're good. You're living life and where you are and getting everything together. And I told them, I said, your wives are stuck in this company. When you get married, this is what they're going to do at some point, because that's where I see this going. That's where I know this company is going to, where it's then going to become generational, and my grandkids will be involved. And that's one thing that we didn't have growing up. A lot of us didn't have growing up, is having that generational wealth come into play. And if you didn't, fine, be that person that starts that generational wealth. Look at your children, look at your grandchildren, look at your great grandchildren. They're the ones that's going to inherit what you do now. And if you're passionate and love your hustle, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to take it, I'm going to make it a company, I'm going to put the things in place, make the sacrifices now, so it can be passed down along the lines. And where you see these huge organizations that have sisters and brothers and grandkids and aunts and uncles that work there. And yes, people say you'd never hire your family. You know what? You're right. But guess what? You're wrong as well. Because if everybody has that mindset of success, nobody gets greedy about it, and they're there to make sure that company succeeds, to make sure, because everybody's children's children will benefit from it. And you have to make that sacrifice now, which is what I'm doing. I'm making sure that JMW Creations will be there for my generations to come. That this home that I am in, the property that I am on, they can build on it and do the things that they need to do to make sure that they have established a great foundation for the future. Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. And I support you in all your endeavors. I love it and support it. And even if your kids, like, if they're not into the wreaths and they're into clothes, like, they can even like print things on Shopify, hats, whatever they're into, that, they can either print things and sell it, and something that they wear, they can sell it. So like, it's all part of the creations of it. It's funny when you talk about, like, oh, when your husband says, okay, well, if you want to get that, think about all the things that entails that you have to buy with it. Because I had thought of one time, I'm like, oh, I really want to make candles, because I'm always buying candles and they're so expensive, like $20 for a candle. I'm like, maybe I should just start making my own candles, right? And then I'm looking at like how to do it, but then you would need all of this equipment and jars and wax. And I was like, I can just imagine just like spilling wax all over the place. Everywhere. I did candles for a little bit, and it was just for a little bit. I sold the jars that I had, and I was like, I'm done. Because it's so not messy, right? It's really not messy. What I wanted to get into. Yeah. There was wax everywhere, and my table is a wood table, and I'm like, my poor table got scratches everywhere because I'm scratching up wood. I mean, wax, and I know. He and I ventured into another hustle that I have, is a vending machine. Oh, so that's generational wealth right there too. Even ice machines. We have our first vending machine. We've had it since January, so it's not a full year yet. And it's doing okay. I know it's definitely the location, because that's usually always it. Just
Yeah.
trying to find that mix of what's going to sell, what's not going to sell.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, trying to get that. And there's so much that we have and the things that we want to do, because, you know, he's also from New York. He's from Queens. You know, our families, we just need to be able to create that. You know, we want to have that foundation for all the kids to get together to say, this is, you know, because Jermaine, he's a chocolate person. So I know when he's ready to come full-fledged, he's gonna, you know, if we got to send him to school to become a chocolatier, that's what he'll do, because he loves chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Curly, he's a warehouse person. When he was in the Marines, that's what he did. So he's going to be in charge of everything, inventory and warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has their purpose.
Yeah.
And again, like we said in the beginning, when you walk in your purpose,
yeah,
you will be successful.
Yeah.
God is going to honor that, because that's what he wants you to do. So then everything that you put your hand on will succeed.
I appreciate you, and I love all of your words. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And we're gonna have to just do another one, because I'm sure we can chat about all kinds of topics.
Yeah, we got a lot of things we can talk about.
I love it. So the last thing is, who do you think I should interview next?
Oh my goodness.
Or a few. I'm sure you got a few.
The one person that I know that has a passion and loves what she does, the education side of it, she was kind of taken out of her element, and her career shifted for a couple of years, but she's now back, and everybody knows who she is and the moves that she made when she was in New York. But I gotta say Renee.
Yes.
I gotta say Renee. Renee has a journey. She has a story, and it's an amazing story. Our stories end up becoming parallel for a few years. But she's one, because like I said, the moves that she's made, the stuff that she was doing when she was in New York alone, has left lasting memories on a lot of people. And as active as she was there, and it's a blessing to have her in North Carolina, because the things that she has accomplished here in the Triangle area, she lives about an hour away from me. So I'm not affected by the things that she does and the job that she has, because I'm not in the education field. But I know the moves that she makes there, and her son Miles, who's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say her.
Awesome.
I definitely would say her.
I love it. She's definitely been on my radar of like, I gotta reach out to her, and like we have to chat, because there's like a whole bunch of them that I remember from CI, from your class and my sister's class, that were very pivotal points of like, you know.
Because of Renee, we marched out of CI High School and protested on the front lawn.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
She's a good advocate for a lot of things that are right.
Yeah.
And it's rare you find people like that. And the other person I would say would be Dawn.
Yes.
Dawn
I reached out to her a while ago too. Yeah.
Yeah, she's had some things that came up in her life, and it hurt a lot of us that grew up with her. But she's one that knows how to keep going amongst the struggle. And you see the moves that she's making, and she still has a full-time job, and this is not who she was growing up.
No,
all of this was not,
no.
If you would have said, what would Dawn be when she grew up? I would not say an influencer in front of a camera every day.
I know. I remember her. I was like, you would never think that. No,
she is amazing, and she's a powerhouse.
I love
and
it.
The positive vibes that she gives, and the small words that she says under her caption of her pictures, that helps a lot of people. Whether you're a plus size person or not, just having that positivity and knowing and having affirmations that you say to yourself every day, because the way society has turned, we didn't think that would happen, to where it pretty much became beautified.
Yeah.
And she has broken that to where you don't have to be a size 0 and have this stealth figure to have that positive attitude, to make a difference when people see you, to be able to walk into a room and just demand the attention and not say a word.
Mm-hmm.
She is that person now.
She is.
I absolutely love it. I love seeing her. You know, it's just, I'm proud to see where she has gone and the things that she has been through to put her where she is now.
Yeah, and those are definitely two people that's been on my radar, because when I see their posts, I can feel those energy from it. You know, that passion, that love of whatever they're doing. You can just feel it through the photos. So thank you so much for those recommendations, and I can't wait to do one of these with you again.
I am here the next time you want, whatever you want the topic to be. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about it. Sit back with a glass of wine. Some conversations may require a bottle, but hey. It's what it is.
I love it. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
You too. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Please tell your sister I said hello.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.